strength and actually the cosmetic result of that tissue. So there's modes of generators out there where you're going to get that same cosmetic effect, like if they're doing plastic surgery, and that wound strength, because both edges are still have blood vessels rather than you just charred everything. So you're not going to get as big of a scar, but you also get more strength.
As a surgical tech, if they have to switch, if the surgeon is asking to switch from one to another, what do they have to do as far as adjust or turning it up to that?
So they would just pop
Those
it.
pop right off?
They pop out. You can put a new tip in. There's a culet in there on the different ones. Some are different than others, and we'll go into it. Some of them have a modified tip. This is stainless steel, and we'll talk about that. You're going to have a stainless steel tip or a non-stick tip, like a sort of like Teflon, where it just wipes away, because eschar is part of the fuel in your fire triad. The modified, when you're deeper in surgeries or they don't want to get around excess, get energy on excess areas or cause issues with other, you have a modified blade rolling the last 2 or 3 millimeters are active compared to this blade. This whole area is active, so you got to be aware of that energy and where it's going.
So the tip just comes off, like our old one.
So here it is. So stainless steel. With the stainless steel, you're going to have a scratch pad to take off that eschar, because the more this eschar builds up on your tip, actually the higher the power settings, the more jagged it also becomes. And it happens to be a fuel of your fire triad, and your fire triad, because it's basically charred skin. Okay? Use a scratch pad to take that off. So let's see, a good non-stick tip. This is a non-stick. With the non-stick, you can just use a wet sponge, or it just wipes off like Teflon. It's like cleaning your pan. Actually, one of the manufacturers came up with that because his wife was burning eggs, and they were sticking to the stainless steel pan. And then she started using the Teflon.
Nice.
And the eggs came out, it was easy to clean. He's like, why don't we put that on a tip? And that's how one of the manufacturers developed the first Teflon, basically PTFE Teflon tip. So we transferred that from burnt fried eggs on a frying pan compared to the Teflon pan.
That'd be the
And that
first time
company
you
sold
thank
for
your
300. And
wife.
that company sold for 300 million. So things transfer to different technologies.